Hi, this is Mr. Cardoso again, and in this video we're going to look at solving equations with fractions. Okay, so sometimes when you're dealing with fractions it seems harder and a little bit more overwhelming or challenging to deal with, but they can be made much easier by first eliminating the fractions, okay, when we're solving those equations. So to eliminate fractions from an equation, you must multiply all of the terms by the lowest common denominator, or LCD. Okay. Once the fractions have been eliminated, then you do what you normally do. You deal with the brackets first, collect like terms, and then isolate the variable. Okay, so we start with the equation. Here's the process flow. We start with the equation with fractions. Then the next step will be to find the LCD and multiply every term by the LCD to clear any fractions. That's a key point here, is to make sure you multiply every term by the LCD. Okay, then you add and subtract to group variables and constants, so you want to bring the like terms together. And then you multiply, divide to isolate the variable. Notice it's the reverse of the BEDMAS order when you're isolating for a variable. And you get to the solution. So let's see some examples here. Okay, so this first one, obviously, you can see it doesn't have any fractions, so this is just a review from last time. Let's do it anyway. First step is to get the like terms together. So this 5x and the 3x are like terms. So let's collect them on the left side. The 3x is already on the left side, so let's bring the 5x over. The sign on the 5x is positive, so when we bring it to the left side, it becomes negative 5x. Okay, and then on the right side, we want to leave the plus 12 there. It's already on that side, so the sign doesn't have to change. But the negative 4 was on the left side. We're going to jump it over the equal sign, so that means the sign is going to change from a negative 4 to a positive 4. We simplify this to get negative 2x, and here we get 16. We divide by negative 2. Divided by negative 2, and we get x is equal to negative 8. So that's just a review from last time. Okay, b is similarly a review from last time. You would expand, so we're going to jump ahead straight down to the fractions. Okay, so now with the fractions here, we're going to look at the denominators, 4, 3, and 6, and try and figure out what the lowest common denominator is of 4, 3, and 6. So the lowest common denominator, we have to see, well, 6, could that be it? Well, 3 goes into 6, but 4 doesn't go into 6. So the LCD can't be 6. You could multiply all the three numbers together, but that might be too big. That might not be the lowest common denominator. So if you notice, actually 12 is the lowest common denominator. 4 times 3 gives us 12. 3 times 4 gives us 12. And 6 times 2 gives us 12. So all the numbers go into 12. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply every single term by 12. So I have 12 times x over 4. You can put them in brackets, the 12 in brackets if you like. Then minus 12 times 2 over 3. So the 12 has to be multiplied straight through, equals 12 times 5 over 6. Okay. So we multiply the LCD by every single term. Like we said on the previous slide, this will help us to eliminate the fractions rather than dealing with the fractions. So as you can see here, the 12 and the 4 goes into the 12 3 times. So we can actually think of this as 12 divided by 4, which gives me 3. So I can actually, that's how I get rid of the fractions. 12 divided by 4 gives me 3, and then I just have an x left over. Keep the sign the same here. Here I can multiply this 12 by 2, but it's actually easier to look at the 12 and the 3. 12 divided by 3 gives me 4, and then I have 2 left there. And then similarly here, 12 divided by 6 is going to give me a 2. and then I'm left with 5. Okay. Now, I'm just going to extend the page a little bit here. Now I have 3x minus 8 equals 10. Again, isolate x now, so let's get rid of the 8. So I have 3x equals 10 plus 8. 3x is equal to 18 divided by 3 divided by 3. X is equal to 6. So you can see here the key step was finding the LCD, multiplying every single term by the LCD, not falling into the trap of multiplying the numerators. Although this works, it's going to lead you down a longer path. Here we do 12 divided by 3 will actually give us 4. We have smaller numbers to deal with. 12 divided by 6 gives us 2, and then we multiply. So we're dealing with smaller numbers. Okay. Let's look at the next example. Here we have an LCD. Again, we want to find an LCD, but now it's only between two numbers, so it's a bit easier. Again, the LCD here is 12, the LCD of 3 and 4. So we're going to multiply every term by 12. So we have 12 times x over 3 minus 12 times 1 over 4. And even though this is not a fraction, you still have to multiply it by 12. So 12 times 3. You have to multiply that 12 by everything, or you're breaking a mathematical rule. So now we have 12 divided by 3 gives us 4 and 4x. 12 divided by 4 gives me, I'll leave the sign there, sorry. 12 divided by 4 gives me 3, and then times 1, which is just 3. And then 12 times 3 gives me 36. Now we need to isolate for the x, so let's get rid of the minus 3 by bringing it to the other side. It becomes plus 3. So 4x is equal to 39. Divide by 4, divide by 4. So then x is equal to 39 over 4. And that is the final answer there. Okay, so let's try the next example here. It's a little bit more complicated, but again, we still have denominators 2 and 3. So the LCD of 2 and 3 is 6. So now we have to multiply each term by 6. So we have 6 times w plus 5 over 2 minus 6 times w over 3, and then 1 times 6. Remember to multiply the 6 by every single term. Now, don't be tempted to multiply this in. Try and get rid of the fraction first. That's why we're multiplying by the LCD, because we know this denominator will go into this number. So 6 divided by 2 will give me 3. And now I have the w plus 5. Okay, 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. And that's how I get the 3 there. Now, 6 divided by 3 will give me 2, and then all I'm left with is a w, and then 1 times 6 is simply 6. Okay, now I just have to expand this, or distribute this, so I get 3w, multiplying here. Don't forget to multiply the 3 by the 5, so plus 15, minus 2w is equal to 6. Okay, now combine the like terms, which in this case happens to be 3w and 2w. And that will actually give me just w. I can bring the 15 to the other side, which becomes minus 15. And I get w is equal to minus 9. Okay. Here, what's the LCD? LCD is equal to 4. So I'm going to multiply both terms by 4. So I multiply that by 4, and I multiply this term by 4, and I get minus x minus 1 all over 4. Notice that the 4 and the 2, nicely, the 2 goes into the 4 twice, so we end up with 2. and then 2x minus 3, because the 2 goes into the 4. And over here, notice that the 4's actually just cross out, so we end up with minus x minus 1. So 2 times 2 gives me 4x, and 2 times minus 3 gives me minus 6, equals minus x minus 1. Now it's just a matter of collecting the like terms. So if I bring the x to the other side, it becomes 4x plus x, so that will give me 5x. And I get minus 1 plus 6, so minus 1 plus 6 is going to give me positive 5. And so then I divide by 5, sorry, there's no room here, and I get, 5x equals 5. I divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 1. Okay, so there's some more examples, but they're all very similar in nature. So I will leave it there. Remember that in this case here, you can see the lowest common denominator will be 12. Remember to multiply each of these terms by 12. Okay, and then cross out with the denominator. Okay, and continue from there. So I'll let you try this, and I'll let you try this one completely on your own. Okay, hope that helped.